This is The Economist. I'm Kenneth Cukier, the data editor, and I'm here with David Selinger, the CEO of Rich Relevance, who is a former Amazon manager responsible for research and development in personalization technologies. So Sally, you were a manager at Amazon. Many people are looking at the new phone that they've released, as well as the tough muscular actions that they're playing in a competitive landscape for ebooks and ebook pricing, and wondering, is this the new retail juggernaut that's going to be spreading its tentacles everywhere, a little bit like Google? What is your view? Help me decrypt Amazon.
So that's a hard question. Having worked with really closely with Jeff Bezos, my answer will start with, what is Amazon and what is Amazon not? And in general, I think what we've seen from Amazon is that Amazon is a company of innovation. Period. Full stop. They have reinvented markets time and time again, starting with how we buy things. They've changed how every consumer thinks about buying. Then they changed how every consumer thinks about reading. Then they've changed how every business thinks about going on the internet. Amazon runs some 10 to 20 to 30% of the internet now. And then most recently, they actually have even gone into the enterprise and government space, now hosting the US government's healthcare.gov data. They have rumored multi-$100 million contracts with three-letter organizations in the US. And in fact, I would describe all this as being in the context of Jeff Bezos. So Amazon is absolutely and unconditionally Jeff Bezos' innovation machine.
Sally, you lead a startup. My question to you is, what can a startup teach incumbent companies?
So I'd break that down into two real lessons, both of which I personally attribute to my time at Amazon. I consider that to be some of the formative time in my career. The two lessons would be, one, to listen to the data and make, frankly, just quantitative, thoughtful decisions. The second would be that innovation is a culture of the entire organization, not a lab group or an innovation team or a spin-up or a skunk works. Innovation is a fundamental culture of the organization. And so to go a little deeper on the data side, one of my favorite stories about Jeff Bezos is a time when I brought him a proposal. So my team was chartered with maximizing the profit for the entire organization. We could go poke our fingers kind of anywhere we wanted, but it had to be starting and ending with an analysis of consumer data. So I brought Jeff Bezos the idea of running advertisements on his website because my team had stumbled on this as a massive profit center. When I first presented it to Jeff, I wasn't the first person to do so. And he said, "This is a dumb idea. Many people have brought this to me before. We're not going to do it." In the same conversation, however, by presenting him data, in the course of an hour, he changed his mind. And there are very, very few CEOs and senior executives that are willing to take their own opinion and put it entirely to the side to one of their employees and change their mind. And the good news for Jeff is that business is now going to generate about $1 billion in gross profit for him next year.
Many people say there's a tech bubble in Silicon Valley. Let me ask you, is there a tech bubble in Silicon Valley?
Well, Ken, yes, I believe there's a tech bubble in Silicon Valley. My answer is a little bit more extensive than that, though, in that I believe there's always a tech bubble of one sort or another happening in Silicon Valley. One example of that would be just the transition from what are called enterprise companies to consumer companies. About every 3 to 4 years, one becomes sexy and the other one becomes not sexy. Oh my gosh, enterprise companies are able to generate consistent results and a consistent level of gross profit. That's the most attractive place we can put money. And all the venture capital firms raise funds and they direct their capital there. And then the trend switches. Oh my gosh, did you see the growth of these consumer curves? There's lots of opportunity. If all we do is monetize those consumers, we'll make hundreds of millions of dollars. And so that pattern results in an ongoing process of different types of bubbles. So most recently there was a bubble in enterprise in what are called SaaS or cloud computing companies, and then immediately thereafter we see Snapchat and WhatsApp pick up from multi-billion-dollar valuations. Pinterest just recently, $17 billion valuation. And so there's always a bubble of one sort or another.
Thinking about innovation, Rich Relevance, your company, has a new technology using iBeacon technology in retail. Tell me about it.
So Rich Relevance at its core is a personalization company. So we help retailers analyze all their data around their consumers in real time and then present those consumers with the right product at just the right time. And what iBeacons allow us to do is to be able to address a consumer with a very high degree of relevancy and accuracy vis-a-vis their location. Meaning, if I happen to be standing at the entrance to a pharmacy, I can greet you with a message that says, "Hey Ken, I saw that you just renewed a prescription. You did it online. Would you like us to pull that to the front of the line for you so you don't have to wait in line? We'll have the pharmacist pick it right out."
So some people see this as a personal concierge. The iBeacon technology in the store links to your cell phone, can identify where you are and what you're doing, and make a prediction on what you might like. Other people might see this as intrusive, that it's spying. How do you respond to the privacy critics who say that this is actually intolerable?
So first of all, you have to take privacy seriously. And so what I think is really important for the commercial entities, the businesses involved in beacons, is that they look at privacy as a non-negotiable, and then secondly, they look at the value trade-off with the consumers, and they don't focus on giving money necessarily back to the consumers, because that's not really what they care about. We should be trading time, convenience, and service.
Great. Thank you.
The Economist.